Yes, Sejal, continue.
Yes, we welcome all the participants. Today we have a seminar on how to begin safe, and we have with us Dr. Priyank Talati. But before that, we have our president giving us the welcome speech. Welcome.
Good evening,
Over to
friends.
you.
Yeah, good evening, friends. Respected chief guest for the webinar, Honorable President of Maharashtra Sales Tax Tribunal, Sri Mahi Sahib, Dr. Priyank Dhaval Talati, son of our member, Mr. Dhaval Talati, and all the panelists, Mr. Alok Mehta, treasurer of our association, Mr. Praveen Shinde, joint secretary of our association, Advocate Sejal Shah and Hiral Shah, and other office bearers, my Vice President Raj Shah, Joint Secretary Mr. Sunil Kushlani, and all you participants for this webinar. I welcome you all for this unique webinar. I think it is as before we started the session, Alok pointed out to me that this is the first time in the history of GSTPM that we have invited doctor or as a speaker in seminar or webinar. So I thank Dr. Priyank for accepting this invitation and joining us for this webinar. The reason for this webinar is this, that recently you all must be aware that the government has started unlocking the things, and now there is only partial lockdown. Even the municipal corporation has come out with circular with tagline "Mission Begin Again." So they have specified what are the things which are going to start and what are the things which are going to remain closed. So although we are starting now, we are not. It is not the thing that we are not exposed to the risk. Risk is still there. I think probably that risk would increase because there is no vaccine, there is no medicine for this COVID-19, and people will be traveling through public transport when it will start. So I personally feel that this risk is going to increase once everything would start if the medicine would not come out. So now it is necessary that we have to take care of ourselves. We cannot remain at home. We cannot keep everything closed because economy will not allow us to survive then. So we have to start somehow, and for that reason, we have to take necessary precautions, necessary uh, rules we have to frame for ourselves, and we have to closely understand what is this COVID-19, what is this coronavirus, that we have to understand, and who can make us understand better. Doctors can make us understand better. So that is the reason we have invited Dr. Priyank Dhaval Talati here to guide us on that particular aspect. I'm thankful to our President of Maharashtra Sales Tax Tribunal for inviting this, for accepting our invitation, and remaining here as a chief guest. We have specifically invited him because we are going to start with tribunal as well. So the department, as usual, is part and parcel of. We are part and parcel of the department and the tribunal and courts where we work. So I have invited so many departmental officers also who might have joined this webinar. So I welcome you all for this webinar once again. Once again, I thank all the organizers, most specifically Advocate Sejal Shah and Hiral Shah, and all the managing committee members for supporting for this. Thank you so much. Over to you, Sejal.
Yes, thank you for that very warm welcome. Now we will have our Joint Secretary, Mr. Praveen Shinde. He will introduce our chief guest for today, Shri Prakash Mali. Over to you, Praveen ji.
Thank you, Sejal madam. Am I audible?
Yes, very.
Good evening, friends. Respected President of GSTPM, Mr. Dinesh Tambre, respected Treasurer Alok Mehta, respected all office bearers present over here. Today's speaker, Dr. Priyank Dawal Talati, and seniors and friends. It privilege to me to introduce today's webinar chief guest, Honorable President Maharashtra Sales Tax Tribunal, Sri Prakash Mali sir. His education qualification as graduate in commerce and law from Pune University. He has started practice as lawyer at Sindhkheda and District Court, Dhule, along with father on 17 July 1981. He joined judiciary as civil judge junior division and judicial magistrate at Aurangabad on 30th June 1988. He has worked as a civil judge junior division at various places: Aurangabad, Nagpur, Jaisinghpur district, Kolhapur, Kopargaon, and Ahmednagar. Then after he is promoted as a civil judge senior division on 7 July 1997. He worked as a civil judge senior division at Aurangabad and Pune. Then after he promoted as ad hoc additional district and assistant session judge on 3rd July 2008. He worked as ad hoc additional district judge at Kalyan and Nagpur. He worked as judge City Civil Court at Bombay. He worked as district judge at Kolhapur and Thane. Then after he promoted as principal district and session judge on 20th October 2013. He worked as principal district and session judge at Chandrapur, Ahmednagar and Aurangabad. He worked as principal secretary legislation, law and judiciary department, Mantralaya, Mumbai. He has retired as principal district and session judge Aurangabad on 31st January 2019. Lastly, he joined the Maharashtra Sales Tax Tribunal, Mumbai as a president from 8 March 2019. With this brief introduction, I request all the participants to welcome today's chief guest, Mali sir, with loud applause. Over to Sejal madam.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. Yes, now can I have a word from you, Prakash Ji? Over to you.
Mr. Dinesh Tambre, the president of GSTPM, all office bearers of the association, especially Advocate Sejal and others, Mr. Dr. Priyank Talati, today's speaker, all participants. At the outset, I will express thanks to Corona warriors, especially doctors, police machinery, and all other bureaucrats who are fighting to combat the corona and to contain the corona. We have been in confinement since 20th March. Near about two and a half months we are in now house. Our economy, the wheels of our economy have stuck because of this corona. And we must start as early as possible. But what has happened because of the increase in the patients and because of the media explosive statements, the layman has become panic. People, some of the people are coming out, but some of the people are wary. They are scared to come out of the house. There are so many other problems, technical glitches also, to start the complete full functioning of our tribunal. But as far as possible, we should see that it should start. And now we are aware that this confinement has been caused because of the nature. This is the nature. And when we will be coming out from our houses to start our day-to-day activities, what precautions we are required to take. Those precautions are to be, now we will hear the guidance from Dr. Priyank Talati, how we have to take precautions. But at the same time, we should take care to see that minimum possible damage should be made to our nature also. That is also required to be taken into consideration. Whenever we are coming out, this is the province of Dr. Talati. I don't want to say anything more because in these days we are hearing uh, so many things. How we have to conduct, how we have to make this social distancing, how all these things are required to be understood properly, because there are so many misunderstandings between people because of this panic situation. People are misunderstanding. They should be given some courage. They should be under, they should be there should be some more what we can say guidance from the experts, so that we can start our functioning without fear, because the fear psychosis should go out of mind. Unless that goes, people will not come out. You say, and in our Bombay, what has happened? You are aware that unless the public transport is started, we cannot fully function. But at the same time, if starts, then again the entire flow you must be observing out. The people are coming out without any cause, without any substantial reason. They come, they wander here and there. That should not happen. And the moment the entire lockdown is open, the people will start coming out, and again there may be a hike in the number of patients, and that will be nowadays. You are aware that patients are increasing. Everything, no doubt, our doctors, our bureaucrats are trying their best to see that there should be containment of the coronavirus. But still, what type of precautions we are required to take, that we expect that our the main speaker, Dr. Priyank Talati, will guide us. And I must express my thanks to our president, Mr. Tambre, all office bearers, that he has invited me to speak a few words, and I will be benefited from the guidance given by Dr. Talati. Thank you. Over to Shidan Shah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maliji, for that wonderful piece of advice and acknowledging our Corona warriors. So here we salute to all these Corona warriors. And well begun is half done. So let us begin well with the introduction of Dr. Priyank Talati by CA Hiral Shah. Over to you, Hiral.
Thank you, Sejal. Uh, Thank you, Maliji, Dineshji. It's a privilege to introduce Dr. Priyank Dhawal Talati. Dhawal Talati is the very well-known name with GSTPM. Now it is Priyank, Dr. Priyank, who would be taking us through. By profession, by qualification, he is MS ENT and DNB ENT. He has been the ex-registrar at KEM Hospital, associate consultant at ABR Desai ENT Clinic, ENT consultant at Shri Vile Parle Kapoor Utkarsh Mandal, Lions Kartar Singh Hospital, Maratha Mandir Gavde Hospital, Amidas Bhaidas Parekh Charitable Clinic, Forcare Hospital, and Criticare Hospital. I was specifically told to give a brief introduction of Dr. Priyank. Otherwise, his achievements and his talent in his professional field is really commendable. Thank you, Dr. Priyank, for accepting our invitation, and over to you. Thank you.
Thanks for the wonderful presentation, for the wonderful introduction, and I would also like to thank the president of GSTPM, Mr. Dinesh Tambre, and the office bearers for giving me this opportunity to speak. And I would also like to say my pranams to Mr. Prakash Mali who is the Honorable Chief of the Tribunal of Maharashtra State for GST and Sales Tax. So basically, first of all the information that I'm going to share with you is all obtained from the guidelines issued by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. So and they are, none of these the things are meant to scare anyone. They are just meant to keep you alert and to get the wheels of the economy kick started. Like all of you, even I had to sit at home for 1 month, but because of my profession, I had to start almost 1.5 months back with my work. So but even I have not resumed fully. So without much ado, we'll start the presentation. So can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. So basically, the question is how to safely begin again in the times of the corona pandemic. So basically, this pandemic has caught all of us, all governments, every major government, even the superpowers by surprise, and all of us are suffering from its wrath. Some say it is nature attacking us back for what we did to it, but at the end of the day, this is nothing but a disease which is affecting a mighty creature like a human being. We humans always thought that we have nature in command, but this disease has taught us who is the real boss. So let's start on how to safely begin again. So I know a lot of you must have gone through endless number of WhatsApps, emails, and Facebook and Instagram messages on how corona spreads. A lot of it, what I have also come across on the internet, is a rumor, and it is all based with no evidence. So basically, where coronavirus spreads only basically by two main routes, that is the droplet spread and the contact spread. So what is the contact spread? So whenever you sneeze or you cough in front of people, small droplets of your saliva or your bodily secretions, they get released into the environment like an aerosol. So you may ask what an aerosol is. Aerosol is nothing but a micro droplets of fluid being released under pressure. It is something like how your deodorant can is, or the can of your insecticide at home is. So basically, in these microparticles, the COVID virus comes and it spreads from person to person. Thankfully, the range of the droplet spread is not big. Like if I sneeze over here, if I can everyone see my second slide?
No.
Hello?
Yes.
You can see my second slide, right? Because I got a message.
We cannot see your, no, we can't see your second slide.
You can you start your presentation?
Slideshow. F5.
Yeah. Okay, started. Can you see now second slide? Slide moving?
No. Go to begin slideshow and from first slide.
We are
One
there
second.
on your first slide only.
Yeah, 1 second.
I
Now
think
can
it's
you see the
paused.
second slide?
You have paused it in the slideshow. There you have
Let me
paused
check.
it.
Can you now see it?
No, you have stopped the screen sharing now. You have stopped screen sharing.
Now can you see?
No,
Yeah,
we
1
cannot.
second. It's sharing. Wait. It's sharing. It's starting to share.
One second, I'll stop and start again. 1 second.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Can you now see?
No, we are not able to see.
Now?
Yeah.
Now?
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. Sorry for the delay.
No, that's fine.
So basically, like I was saying, the aerosol route, it does thankfully it doesn't spread beyond maximum of 3 meters by a aerosol route. They're extremely basic, because of the force of the sneezing that you have or your coughing you have, it rarely spreads beyond 3 meters, the circumference of 3 meters. Then the other major route of spread is something called as a contact spread. So what is a contact spread? So whenever you sneeze, or if you have wiped your nose and then you touch something with those very same fingers, the virus gets transmitted from your body into something which you are touching. Like for example, if I wipe my nose and then touch my pen or my mobile or some papers with it and spread it to another person, like if I give my pen to another person and that person also then ends up touching his nose or his eyes, or put them in his fingers, in his mouth, then the infection can spread via that route. So basically that is a contact spread. Across WhatsApp, even I have come across many things that coronavirus is spreading via air, and it is spreading in the air that you breathe. That is simply not possible because the virus cannot survive on its own in air for a long time. So basically, for example, if someone in your building has a COVID infection and they are breathing the very same air that you breathe, you cannot contract the infection by the person in your building or even in your premises who is just breathing and is sitting far away from you. So basically, coronavirus spreads only by either the droplet spread or via the contact spread. It doesn't spread via any other mechanisms. Whatever you're coming across on the social media is pretty much false, that you are breathing in. So basically, just remember that corona spreads only via droplets or contact spread. So this is so basically you should know what are the basic symptoms of COVID-19, so that you can at least have a self-assessment in case you are getting if you are having one of these symptoms, so that you can seek medical attention. So basically, it is the main symptoms of COVID-19 are fever. The fever at the start will be a low-grade fever, that is approximately it will be below 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which you can measure on your thermometer. But as the infection catches roots, you will start getting higher fevers of say 102, 103 degrees Fahrenheit. Then you will have something. Then you will have dry cough. What is dry cough? Dry cough is cough in which you are not producing sputum and you don't have to spit out the secretions regularly. Then you will be having sore throat, that is pain in the throat will be there, and you will have difficulty in swallowing your food or drinking water. So basically, when you are drinking water and swallowing food, it will give you immense pain. Then as the infection catches its roots and it starts attacking your lungs, you will slowly start developing breathlessness. However, this breathlessness is one of the most dangerous symptoms of COVID-19, because as I will cover further in the webinar, till your oxygen saturation is 90%, you won't even get a hint that you are having breathlessness. But once you drop below 90, the slope is very steep, and then you immediately need to seek medical attention as soon as you start feeling breathless. So breathlessness is one symptom which everyone should be very alert for. And now the government is going to even introduce the symptoms of loss of taste and loss of smell. So basically, there are sensations, and coronavirus has been seen to affect the sensations of these two senses. So when you start having when you have a fever or any of these above symptoms with taste and smell, with loss of taste and smell, you should immediately seek medical attention and get yourself evaluated. So now, since we are all to begin work to get our work started and to get the wheels of the economy in motion, we all will be at the start. Majority of us are going to use public transport. Right now, only buses are operational, but slowly and steadily, because Mumbai cannot function without trains, the government will also have to start the functioning of local trains. So basically, you will all be coming into office from the railway station or the bus stop, or even from an Uber or a shared Uber or a shared Ola, or even in your own private car. But the protocol for entry into the office from the means of public transport are same for one and all. Even if someone is coming by his own car or someone is coming by a local train, the rules for entry into the office must be same for everyone. This apply in CA forms. This applies to the senior and managing partners, and even to the clerks and the peons in the office. So the protocol is same for everyone. No one is to be considered as a VIP for this. No one is exempt from this protocol. So basically, you have to sanitize your hands immediately upon entry into the office. If it is possible for you in your office, you may keep a foot-operated hand sanitizer dispenser outside the doors of your office, so that the staff on entry can sanitize their hands with an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Or if you don't have space, you can keep it immediately on the entry point in your office, inside your premises. Then staff ideally should be removing their shoes outside the office and keeping them either in a shoe rack provided outside, or if that is not possible, staff should ideally be carrying a plastic bag with them in which they can keep their shoes, because your shoes are coming into contact with the environment the most. They can be they have the propensity to carry the infection or the droplets, whatever they are catching from outside. So keep your shoes outside, or if it is not possible, please keep them in a bag with you at an isolated corner in the office. Then a staff member in the office with proper safety gear like a mask and a face shield should be designated to record the temperature and, if possible, even the oxygen saturation of everyone who is coming into the office, so that you keep a track of the people who are entering your office, and you know that the person is not a person who is suffering from the active disease. The staff is also, the offices are also expected to maintain a register with the details the contact number and the emergency contact number and the address of each and every person entering the premises, be it the employees in the office or the courier employees or the clients who are going to come into your office. You have to keep a register with the details of every person. So for example, if anyone in your office becomes corona positive and they have been in contact with that person, so you can immediately contact that person and warn him well in advance. So basically this is nothing but contact tracing. So with these simple steps, the person takes the entry into the office. I know it is time consuming, but it is for your own safety and for the safety of your office members and the family members of all your office members. So once you are entered the office after following the protocols that I mentioned in the previous slide, you have to then start working in your office. So basically these are some points which I have noted down, which you must maintain when you are going to enter in your when you're going to start working in your office. So right now you have to maintain strict social distancing of at least 1 meter inside your office. You have to ensure that people are not packed like sardines in your office. Like, you have to now slowly start staggered shifts or staggered days for your employees when you start functioning with the sword of corona looming all above us. So you have to at least maintain a strict social discipline of 1 meter between each and every employee working in office. For example, if in a certain section of your office 6 people were working, cut it down to 3 people for now. This will ensure safety for everyone in your office, and at the same time keep your organization functioning. Then face mask is a must for everyone who will be coming into your office and working in your office, and at all times. Studies have shown that face masks, when worn and used correctly, they halt the spread of infection by as much as 90%. And when 2 people are wearing face masks and interacting with each other, you have a double barrier between those 2 people. So face mask is our first and best line of defense against the virus when you are working inside your office. Then you have to ingrain into your brain that you have to not touch your face when you are working in your office, because coronavirus accesses your body either via your nose or your mouth. Then you have to, because of these risk factors, you have to make it a habit that you should not be touching your face when working in your office. Many people have a habit of involuntarily touching their face when working, as a habit or as a fixed muscle memory. But you have to ingrain in your head that this is for your own safety. I should not be touching my own face. Then, because corona spreads via things which can be shared between people, you have to start establishing protocols in your office that every employee must be given a fixed set of pens, staplers, and other stationery which he or she may require in his day-to-day functioning in your office. Now slowly and steadily we are becoming a digital economy, and our paper work is going to reduce, and the amount of paper that we are going to be having in our office is slowly and steadily decreasing. So we should think of corona as an opportunity to help us start becoming a paperless office. Also, because because we are becoming paperless and we are going to become dependent on the computer, if possible, try and keep the computer fixed for one employee. One employee should not use multiple computers in the office, because as I said before, corona also spreads by the contact route. So basically, to summarize, please use your own stationery and own computer and try to work without physical paper files. Then employees should be constantly reminded by means of posters or repeated WhatsApp messages or emails that they should wash their hands at least once every hour. Simple hand washing with soap and water has been shown to kill the virus if it is done correctly. As we move ahead in our presentation, I'll be showing you a video on how to wash your hands. It's just a simple 20-second step which will go a long way in acting as a shield against the infection. Now, coronavirus, again, I'm repeating, sorry for boring you, but corona spreads via contact route and objects surrounding us, which we tend to touch. So try and declutter your workspace as much as possible, so that you have minimum amount of things that you will have to touch whenever you are working in your office. The lesser the number of things, the lesser the things you will touch, the lesser will be the chances for spread. Then whenever you wash your hands with soap and water in your office wash basin or in your bathroom, always clean the as a courtesy to the people who are going to come before and after you, please wash the tap with a bit of soap and a tissue paper before you start washing hands and even after you wash your hands. Then keep a good supply of disposable tissues in the office to dry hands and to dry the hands and to turn off the tap after washing. You should not be using a reusable cotton napkin or a reusable napkin, because that can act as a mode for spread of the infection. Then the staff members should be requested to bring their own food, water and beverages to the office, because if people in your office have a habit of ordering food from outside for lunch almost every day, you are introducing more and more people to your office environment and increasing your risk manifold. So please bring your own food and water to the office, so that you don't even have to share the communal office drinking water tap, because that can also act as an area from where infections can spread. If possible, talk to your employees and avoid having tea and coffee served in your office for at least a period of 1 month till you from when you start working, because again that will involve sharing of utensils, and someone will have to be responsible for getting milk and other supplies for making the beverages. So for 1 month, try and avoid having tea and coffee in your office. Slowly and steadily you can begin, and if you really cannot do without tea and coffee, then try bringing disposable cups to your office, so that at least the amount of utensils in the office gets reduced. Also, staff members should be told to wear simple, light cotton clothes to office, and preferably you should be wearing half sleeve clothes, because full sleeve clothes and the collars of the cuffs of the full sleeve clothes can also act as an environment for the coronavirus to thrive. Also, avoid wearing jewelry and watches to the office, because even those metal jewelry and the watches, they can also act as a habitat for the virus. Then in your office, try and avoid meeting each other as much as possible. It is said that unity is strength, and a family that works the office that works together stays together, but this corona pandemic has put a pause to those sayings. So you have to try to avoid meeting each other as much as possible in your office. Try to interact with each other digitally even in office. Now you have wonderful applications like this GoToWebinar or Zoom or Microsoft Teams, or even simple Google Meets and WhatsApp call. So you can use those digital mediums to communicate with each other even in the premises of your office, so that you don't have to interact with one another. Then always keep a small bottle of sanitizer handy with you at all times, in case soap and water are not available at times. For example, this is helpful when you are going to be traveling traveling to and from your office. So a small bottle of sanitizer, a small cleaning with sanitizer will keep your hands clean and will decrease your risk manifold. Then in the unavoidable circumstances when staff members have to meet each other for some collaborative work, try and use a face shield and a mask when meeting each other, so that you have multiple barriers for the spread of infection between people. Then what is the then there are certain things in the offices which are going to be used by multiple persons, something like doorknobs of your drawers, or your doorknobs of your office entry door or your bathroom doors. So keep a designated staff member in the office to clean the frequently touched surfaces with sodium hypochlorite solution when wearing gloves. So sodium hypochlorite is nothing but your bleach, which is available in the form of ALA. So instead of buying expensive medical sodium hypochlorite, a simple solution of a 500 ml of 500 ml bottle of ALA in 10 liters of water can act as a beautiful antiviral cleaning solution, and it can work for at least 10 to 10 days in an office with minimum amount of frequently used surfaces. This is a very cost effective method to keep on cleaning the surfaces. In an ideal situation, you should clean them every 2 hours, but if it is not possible, at least have them cleaned every 4 hours. Then coronavirus has been known to survive in the ducts of ACs and in the indoor units of ACs. So try and avoid usage of ACs as possible. Thankfully, in Bombay, it is getting cooler now day by day with the impending monsoon. So try and work with windows open in your office and try to use fans. But in certain offices, I know you have those glass windows which are not easily openable. So try and try and clean the AC filters daily with the sodium hypochlorite solution which I mentioned earlier. And in offices where it's possible to open the windows, nothing like it, please keep your windows open and your fans on full swing, so that you have multiple air exchanges, and you have an opportunity to prevent coronavirus from colonizing inside your air conditioners. Then, because all of you are firms which have to deal with multiple clients, you will be receiving a lot of couriers every day or lot of posts every day, and even the employees have a lot of parcels coming in via the e-commerce websites. So keep a designated big box in your office to receive all your couriers and your parcels. And for example, if I'm receiving a courier, and try to do this one thing which I'm suggesting. For example, if you're getting a courier on Monday, please don't touch that courier till Tuesday. Receive it on Monday morning, keep it in a box, keep it aside in a remote corner of your office, and touch it directly on Tuesday morning. This will prevent, so this is going to minimize your risk of contracting the virus from the parcels or the couriers. Then keep only one person in your office designated to receive the courier. So but that person should be provided with a proper mask and a face shield and gloves whenever he or she is receiving every courier. I am specifically saying keep just one person designated for it, so that multiple people are not coming in contact at the same time. We don't want a multiple point failure. Then as I said before, go digital. Keep all your interactions as digital as possible with all government officials, with all your client accountants or your client CFOs, and tell them not to send hard copies of documents. Try and work with documents digitally as much as possible. And as we have the honorable chairman of the tribunal here, if possible with the government support, you can keep your tribunal hearings and whatnot with a digital platform. It is possible because right now we know that the Supreme Court is also taking up a few cases on the digital platform. So even we can think of, you all can think of a mechanism to work digitally for at least 1 to 2 months in the future, so that you also are safe and even the people coming into your tribunals are also safe. Then one thing which I would like to suggest is there is no need to wear a N95 mask in the office. Doing that, wearing it into your office is simple overkill. First of all, you're reducing the supply of N95 masks for the corona warriors, and at the same time, prolonged usage of N95 mask causes something called as carbon dioxide saturation, because you're not able to breathe easily through the thick mask, and that will make you sleepy and doozy in the office. So a simple cotton or a 3-ply mask will do in your office. No need to go for a N95 mask or use a respirator in your office. So you're done working in the office for your day, and it's now time to go home. So before you go home, just wash your hands and wear your mask and leave for the office, from the office for your residence. So what to do when you get back home? These are the steps which will help to protect your near and dear ones at home. So keep just one pair of shoes or sandals for your office, and try to keep them outside your house. If it is not possible to keep them outside your house, keep them in a designated plastic bag and keep them in one corner of your house so that they don't act as carriers for the corona infection. Then immediately after you reach home, keep a mask in a separate bucket at home for washing. Don't mix it with other clothes if you are using washable masks, and if you are using a disposable mask, immediately discard it in your garbage at home. Then immediately wash your hands and face immediately after returning home. This is the first and the best step to protect yourself from the infection. Then throat, I would suggest all of you to use a simple chlorhexidine mouthwash after returning home. Chlorhexidine mouthwash is available at all chemists, and if it is not available, you can use simple Colgate or Oral-B mouthwashes also. These mouthwashes are known to kill the virus, and if you do mouthwashing after reaching home, you protect yourself even more. Then it is suggested that you bathe immediately after returning home, or even if you cannot bathe at home immediately after coming back from office, please change your clothes. Don't stay in your office clothes for a long time, because you have traveled wearing those clothes. There may be a remote possibility that some aerosol must have landed upon your clothes, and that will give a tendency for the infection to spread. So immediately change your clothes after coming home if you're not able to bathe. And I know all of you must be traveling to office with a bag, with a laptop, your files, and your lunch box. So keep your bag also at one corner in your home, and don't touch it for at least 8 hours when you return back home. Remove your dabba and give it for washing, and then keep your bag in one corner of the home where there is very less access. So now hand washing is the best defense mechanism against the coronavirus, because it kills the virus which is present in the hands and in your fingertips and in your nail beds. So the next slide is a video on how to wash your hands. You can even take a screenshot of this and post it all across your office, in the washroom, then at the entry point into your office, so that people are well aware on how to wash their hands. So this is a video which shows you how to wash your hands in 20 seconds.
Wet your hands with water. Apply soap. Rub your hands palm to palm and wash the backs of both hands and in between your fingers. Then palm to palm with fingers interlocked. Clasp your hands together and rub. And then clean around the thumbs too. Rub your fingertips in the palms of your hands and finish off with the wrists. Rinse your hands really well with water and dry them thoroughly with a paper towel. Use the towel to turn off the tap. Your hands are now clean.
So this was a very simple video. You can download this video very simply from YouTube and share it amongst all your staff members, so that they are also educated on how to wash their hands. This is the best step and the most cost-effective step in preventing you from getting the infection. So I have been observing that many people who are not from the medical fraternity, they don't know how to hygienically wear a mask and how to remove a mask. So this is a short video which will show you how to wear a mask.
So you will pick up your mask and use the ear loops, and you're going to make sure that it's over top of your nose and below your chin and around your ears.
So as you observed in this video, when wearing the mask, she did not allow her hands to touch any part of her face except for the area behind her ears, and she did not allow the outside surface of the mask to touch her nose or mouth anywhere. So this simple step of wearing a mask will also keep you safe and protected. So once you reach back home, or you have to, or if you are eating in your office and you have to remove your mask, kindly have a look at this video on how to safely remove a mask. So as you saw in this video also, she did not allow the mask to touch any part of her, the outside surface of the mask to touch any part of her face, neither did her hands touch any part of her face. So these two small steps of how to wear a mask and how to remove a mask are going to go a long way in keeping you safe against the coronavirus. And one more thing I would like to suggest is keep 2 pairs of masks with you at all time. One pair of mask is to be kept when you are going to be traveling from your home to your office. Remove that mask and keep it in a bag, and shift to another mask when you are in office. That mask which you have worn in office has to be removed directly when you get back home. I'm saying this specifically because the outside portion of your mask when you are traveling, there are chances that it may have caught a few aerosols which would have contained the COVID virus. So it is better for your own safety to keep 2 pairs of masks whenever you are traveling to your office.
So you will pick up your mask.
So in the unforeseen circumstance, and I pray to God that this happens to none of the attendees of this seminar, if any of your near and dear ones or even you develop the symptoms which I mentioned before, kindly seek urgent medical attention and help from medical personnel, and immediately inform your office colleagues so that they are also aware that of you getting the suspected infection, so that they also stay safe and they also seek medical attention. And even if you get a single symptom, like I mentioned before, please stay at home. It is for the safety of your own office colleagues and your own safety that you stay at home. So basically, COVID-19 unfortunately is a highly infective disease. So basically it spreads very easily between human to human. However, with all due safety precautions and safety measures, which I mentioned in my webinar, you can avoid getting this virus with the simple precautions. Also, even though this virus is highly infective, fortunately in Indians it is being shown that it is not a very lethal virus. 95% of the people who get the virus get recovered by simple usage of only paracetamol and nothing else. But because it is highly infective, we have to keep our guard up at all times. So like I mentioned before, you have to gargle your mouth with chlorhexidine mouthwash after you come home from your office, or even if you have gone outside to buy a few groceries or home essentials. Then it is proven that vitamin C is an excellent immunity booster and it is an antioxidant against the virus. I don't want to go into how the virus spreads, but basically the virus releases a lot of toxic oxidative radicals in your body, and vitamin C immediately counteracts them. And so it is going to be an excellent immunity booster for the virus, and it is going to keep your immune system in shape in case you get the infection. Vitamin C is not the treatment for the virus. That is what I would like to clarify. It is, however, a very important asset in your body's immune system against the virus. It is not the a treatment for the virus. It is just an aid to your immune system. And if you are a smoker, please quit smoking, because the smoking already impedes the health of your lungs, and because the target of the virus is your lungs, people with who smoke already have compromised lungs, so you tend to go on a downhill slope faster than the non-smokers. And also you are all aware that smoking causes cancer, so please quit smoking for your own good. Then, because the primary target for the coronavirus is your lungs, you please do regular breathing exercises at home like pranayam, so that they build up your lung capacity and your lungs become strong against the coronavirus. And right now we have no specific treatment against the virus, neither do we have any vaccine against the virus. The best vaccine that we have right now is our alertness. So please stay alert and be alert against this virus. Also, one thing I would like to add is we are currently surrounded by a flood of misinformation on various social media platforms, which actually does way more harm than it does good. And unfortunately, it is spreading like wildfire on our social media, on our news channels, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all other social media platforms. So please stay away from the fake news, because they are going to make you more panicked than you should be. You should actually not be panicked, but these fake news are going to make you panic. It is normal human tendency. Always trust information which is coming from verified sources like the website of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. And if you get WhatsApp from any family member or your friend on the various WhatsApp group giving remedies for coronavirus or giving various modes of spread of coronavirus, please don't forward them and cause more mass information and panic amongst the general public. So basically, the trinity of fake news, misinformation, and rumors, it gives rise to panic in the society. Already, our society is very panicked with all the pandemic going on. Please don't add to it with all the fake news and misinformation. So with this, I would like to conclude my lecture, and I am more than happy to take questions which you may be having.
Yes, I would thank you so much, Dr. Priyank, for that informative presentation, and we all need to go and learn that. I would request the participants, if you have any questions, please post them on the question tab. We have it on the right side corner. So you can post your questions there. And we will read out the questions to Dr. Priyank.
Can I ask?
Yes, please go ahead. Yes, please
go ahead.
Dr. Alok Mehta here. In the office, we are wearing the mask. Suppose, say, for example, if two people are there, it is compulsory to wear the mask in the office, or compulsory?
Definitely you have to wear a mask in the office. Whenever you step out of your house, wear a mask. Simple.
But
yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, because there are message coming that if you are wearing the mask continuously, then your oxygen level is going down and all, and you will have a problem. So can you guide on that?
That is with N95, and don't believe in those messages. That is only there a certain extent with N95. Your cotton or your 3-ply masks are breathable, so you need not worry. They are actually breathable, so you need not worry one bit. But compulsorily you should wear a mask in office. Certain studies are even showing that the Japanese people have had a tendency to wear masks from years together. So Japanese people have they have a habit of wearing masks, and because of, and in Japan you have seen how less affected they are with this with the virus. So people are saying, like the researchers from reputed universities like Harvard, they are also saying that the Japanese habit of wearing mask has prevented them from bearing the full assault of the infection.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, we have a few more questions here from the participants. The first question is, why should we have mask and face shield both?
See, face shield is there. See, mask is not going to cover each and every part of your face. The face shield and the mask is going to act as a double barrier. So the mask is protecting your most prone parts like your nose and your oral cavity. But the face shield is going to surround you from everywhere, so that is going to act as a generalized shield from the aerosol to come towards you.
Okay, so I think both together will give a better protection.
If you're sitting alone in your office and working, then no need to wear a face shield. At the end of the day, because of the pressure, it is going to give you a headache. But if you have to go and have a meeting with your office colleague or with your boss or anyone, wear a face shield for 5-6 minutes and you will be okay.
Okay, thank you for that. I would also request participants, those who cannot type and put it on the question tab, you can raise your hands and we will unmute you, and you can unmute yourself that time when we call out your name, so then you can ask the question personally. Okay, I'll move on to the next question. Is how to identify whether it is a 3-ply mask?
So 3-ply mask, you first of all buy it from a reputed chemist. Lot of fakes are out there, and insist on taking a mask with the ISI number.
Okay.
Take it from a reputed chemist, because they are under more vigilance, and because more people are coming, they won't ideally be cheating you. But it is mentioned on the see, it is the 3 plies are very closely stitched together, so with a naked eye you won't be able to make out. But go to a reputed chemist and buy from a buy a ISI Mark 1 only. That's it.
Okay, thank you so much. And the next question is, sometimes
I won't even recommend too much of 3-ply mask usage, because they are all disposable and that will add to the garbage load. So wear a simple cotton mask, wash it and use it. So best is a cotton mask. It is also more comfortable. I have worn all types of masks, so I know. So cotton mask is the best.
Cotton ones should be used. Okay.
Yeah,
Correct.
simple cotton ones, but please wash them with Dettol when you go home. Just make that a habit.
Yeah, that's very important. Now we have a very important question here from a participant. What should be the diet in this situation? I think this is really important for us to.
What you are eating, eat that. Simple. Don't make any dietary modifications. Don't eat unhealthy food. Don't eat outside food, not because of because food is a carrier, but the person who is delivering the food can be a carrier. And you can have simple things like, basically only dietary addition I would like to make is have food with antioxidants, like have more of green leafy vegetables, increase the amount of intake of lemon juice in your diet, because all of this is going to add to vitamin C, and vitamin C is an excellent free radical scavenger. So have more of this, and there is no harm in increasing the amount. Like WhatsApps are going on about use of ginger and all that. No harm in increasing that, but don't overdo anything. You can eat whatever you are eating, just eat healthy.
How about making, a lot of people are making that kada with turmeric and ginger, and so you think that works like?
See, there is no, I am a person who believes in hard data. There is no data to prove it is harmful, or there is no data to prove it is useful also as much as they claim it to be. No harm in trying it. If you are happy with it, please go ahead. I am not going to stop you from doing it. But
a lot of people are suggesting those tulsi drops and few things like that.
See, there's no harm in trying, but don't just make it like, but don't become like a Rambo that I have had this, now nothing is going to happen to me. Please don't be under that misconception.
And what about those homeopathic medicines that are coming in now?
There is absolutely no proof for it. No, even Medical Council of India, then even ICMR and all reputed medical colleges of India, all reputed pulmonologists of India have said that it is showing no benefit. There is no basically clinic, like there's one drug called remdesivir, that is an allopathic medication. That is the only one which is actually showing promise right now. None of the other drugs are showing that good a promise as much as that drug. But don't take homeopathic medications because we don't know the clinical efficacy of it. With Ayurvedic medication, you know they are coming from a natural plant source, so you can safely take. But this thing, arsenic, they see, I am not going to go criticize anyone, but arsenic is known to be toxic for your kidney and your liver. So what happens is people over intake these homeopathic medications and they land up with other issues. So try to stick to Ayurveda, but don't jump to homeopathy and overdo it.
I think that was really informative, because we get carried on with the videos and all that which has been circulating.
Misinformation in this whole pandemic is as much of an evil as the pandemic itself actually right now.
Okay. The next question from a participant is that is it necessary to put the vegetables in soda water before consuming?
Wash with water, nothing else. Simple water.
So
And don't have, for example, if you bring a cucumber today to home, don't have it today itself. Wait for 24 hours to have it and wash it vigorously with soap and water. And if possible, and if you are okay, you can wash it with warm water also, but no need to add soda and all that. That is over killing it. But just don't, like if you get a tomato and a cucumber today, don't have it today itself. Wait for 24 hours, 36 hours, and then have it. And whatever fruits you are having, have only peelable fruits right now. Like apples and all should be avoided right now. Have a banana, or you can have a mango, because you are going to throw the peel away. But don't have fruits in which you have to eat peels also.
I think that was really important, because that's just the everyday question which everybody has. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you describe a good vitamin C tablet and the company, which company?
Multiple are available. Like Limsi is there, 500 mg. Selene is there. Multiple are available. Limsi, Selene.
Okay.
And it is a chewable tablet. Don't swallow it.
Chewable ones are better. Okay. And not form also you suggest.
What?
Get certain powder form also.
Powder is
That-
for children actually. For
that kind
children,
of thing. Yeah.
syrups are available. For adults, a chewable tablet will be the best.
Okay. Now another question. You just uttered Ranbaxy medicine. Please spell it.
Remdesivir is strictly under control right now. It is not going to be available anywhere. You need a MD pulmonology person to sign off when you are taking that drug, and it is only kept for the ICU patients. My close friend, he got corona in the pandemic. He was admitted to hospital. All they were giving him were paracetamol and vitamin C. That's it. He was back home in 7 days, fit and fine.
Okay.
But one thing I would like to add is people above 60, please stay at home, because already your immune systems are weaker because of the age. So try and stay home as much as possible. The hit of corona on older citizens, as you know, is way more severe as on the younger citizens. And diabetics are especially requested to stay home because their immune system functions at only 70 to 80% as of a non-diabetic.
Okay.
So please, diabetics and senior citizens, please stay at home for at least 1 more month. You have stayed at home for almost 3 months now. 1 more month won't harm more.
Yeah, I think now they have opened up gardens and parks, but we have, I think, restrictions for senior citizens here.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. After now, there's another question: is after touching papers and documents or currency notes, is it necessary to sanitize the hands every time?
Ideally, yes. Ideally, 100% you should be doing it, because you never know how many hands those papers have exchanged. So if you are receiving some cash payment, for example, keep it in a box. Don't touch it for 24 to 48 hours and then only touch it.
Okay.
Similar thing for papers coming in from a client office. So papers are coming from the client, someone packs them in an envelope, then the envelope is touched by the courier people. How many courier people exchange hands, we don't know. So just don't touch it for 24 to 48 hours and then you can touch it.
Then
And
it's safe.
one more thing is, don't wear too many gloves everywhere. Gloves are themselves a carrier of the infection. Best is keep on washing hands. That's it.
Okay. I think that was great. And the next question is how to treat the visitor in the office. Now, if we have any visitor in the office.
First is with suspicion. Always take the temperature of that person, and if possible, the SpO2. SpO2, a small probe of about 1800 is available in all chemists. If the person is below 90, tell him to stay out of your office. If the temperature of the person is above 100, tell him to stay out of your office. And for your safety, take the at least two mobile numbers, the address of the person coming into your office, and try to stay online. Like I cannot stress much on it. I cannot stress less on it. Like try to keep your interactions online.
Okay. So it's better to be doing things online. Okay. The
See,
next
certain
question
situations
is,
you cannot avoid. So for that situations, just keep these precautions, like take the temperature and the details of the person, and when meeting that person, wear a face shield and a mask. That's it.
I think now most of the buildings are also having that temperature check, and without that, they're not allowing.
Yes. But even if your office is having no harm in keeping 2 layers of security.
Okay. Then the next question is, how safe is it to order food from outside, and what precautions need to be taken? Like Zomato and Scooty, a lot of people are delivering.
From food, this doesn't spread. It may spread via the person carrying it. Now Zomato and Swiggy also, they are claiming that they are doing regular temperature checks of all their riders, and they are monitoring them via the Arogya Setu app. But as far as possible, avoid it, because the package of food also, like it comes in a paper package or a plastic bag, that also has been touched by at least two people, the person delivering the order to the rider and the rider himself. So if possible, try and avoid eating outside food, and in a situation where you are forced to order outside food, receive the parcel, keep the food out, throw the bag which has come with the parcel, and immediately wash your hands.
I think what has happened is, watching that Domino's ad, a lot of people are having, like, they're just forming groups and ordering it for a group, kind of, each one from the family, and they're ordering. So how safe is that feel?
See, Food
Because
outside.
they show on the television, as per they say that it is every point it is
Yeah,
being.
even Zomato and Swiggy are sending out emails with the safety precautions they're taking. But right now, this virus is a very notorious one because it has a tendency to stick in the unlikeliest places. So if you are if you are ordering from outside, then receive the pizza box, for example, remove the pizza from the box and throw the box away immediately, and wash your hands immediately. Like once you touch the box, wash your hands, open it, immediately remove the food from the box and throw the box away, and again wash back your hands.
Now, in relation to the washing of vegetables, we have another question: is if we wash the vegetables and fruits in warm water, what is the temperature level where the virus gets destroyed?
Virus ideally gets destroyed at 60 to 70 degrees Celsius. So if possible, wash it with proper hot water. And if it is not possible to do it, even the geyser temperature water will do it to some extent. But the safest thing is, don't immediately eat the vegetables. Like for example, if I bring vegetables to my home today, don't consume it today itself. Take 24 hours gap between consumption and purchase.
Yeah, I think that you have been persistently saying that is very important, not to touch things for few hours. And
Yeah.
okay, the next question is, how safe are the clothes dried in the sunshine? I think
very it is pretty safe.
Unless you're giving it to a dhobi or something, it's a problem.
It is safe. Home dried, home laundered clothes are safe because detergent itself, because of its properties, has a tendency to kill the virus because it destroys the cell wall. But it is safe to sun dry your clothes.
Okay. Now we have Mr. Bhavin Mehta. I will unmute you, Mr. Bhavin. You can ask a question, and then after that we have Ashwin Acharya ji. I will unmute you then. You can self-unmute yourself. Then you can ask the questions. Mr. Bhavin Mehta and Ashwin ji. Yes, Ashwin.
Am I audible? I am how to unmute.
Yes,
I do not know.
yes,
I'm
yes,
audible.
Yes, you are
Okay,
very much audible.
Yeah. Hello, doctor. See, most of the time we have to deal with the documents. Paper. Lots of papers come in our office. So, is there any way to sterilize them, like ultraviolet something box? We put it inside and.
See, the easiest and the most cost effective is don't touch for 24 hours at least.
Okay.
And ultraviolet, the clinical efficacy is still a question because none of them have been cleared by any authority like ICMR, the UV sterilizer.
Achha.
And we also don't know how much exact UV exposure is still needed because there are a lot of conflicting reports. Like some reports have stated that within 20 seconds of UV exposure, the virus dies. Some studies have shown it takes at least 30 minutes. So the safest and the most cost effective is don't touch the paper for at least 24 hours. And if you have to touch the paper, be very careful. Don't touch your hands onto your face when you are dealing with them, and immediately use sanitizer after you're done.
Achha. Okay. Thank you.
But keep it digital as much as possible because that is the safest at the end of the day.
Okay, thank you for that. Now we have with us Mr. Bhavin Mehta. You can unmute yourself. Yes.
Hello.
Yes, you are audible. Yes, Mr. Bhavin. Then we have Mr. Girish Mehta also. Girish Mehta, Mr. Girish Mehta, you can. You have to unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yes. Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Is a used mask a biomedical waste, and what are the means to dispose it?
See, ideally, used mask 100% is a biomedical waste, but you already the biomedical waste authority, like in Bombay, the ones who are dealing with the biomedical waste are overstretched right now. So if possible, just keep a designated bag for all the used masks, and keep for example, if you're collecting the masks, collect them in a bag which you can tie properly and then only dispose of. I know it is not possible for you guys to call the biomedical waste authorities and tell them to pick up each and every small bag. That is not cost effective. So the easiest method for you will be to keep them all inside a black plastic bag and tie it and seal it and then only throw it, so that even the people who are dealing with the waste, they are also not exposed to anything.
Should we
And
cut
because of
cut
this,
them before
Yeah.
throwing it away? We should cut it.
see that you can do it to prevent misuse of it, but you can definitely do that. It's not a bad idea at all. But even if but the disposal guidelines will still stay the same. It is definitely a good idea to cut them and then dispose them off, but I would still suggest that the best would be to use a cotton mask, so you don't have to fall into the trap of cutting your mask and then disposing it off safely.
Okay.
Thank you so much for that. Then we have, this is an important question. I think we see it from the women's point of view, but it has been asked by a participant who is a male. Is it safe to call maid at home? What precautions are needed?
That is a very, very big debate. See, it is all on the area you are living in, to be very honest. See, maids also, they come from, they stay in places where you have a lot of where social distancing is not very feasible. So you have been, see, one thing I would like to say is you have been working at home from 23rd March. Continue for a bit of a longer time. It is for your own safety, because you don't know from who the maid is coming into contact when she's coming to your house, who she has been in contact with since the past 15 days. So the safer thing would be to avoid you calling a maid for the next 1 month at least, because right now we are at a very crucial junction in the city of Mumbai. Finally, Mumbai is getting a small hand over the infection. Like the containment zones are finally being contained a bit. Yes, we are having increasing cases, but they are all from the containment zones mainly. So it is for your own safety, I would say don't call for a period of at least 1 month more, because unfortunately the maids stay in slums or in chawls where they are all in close proximity, and majority of the slums have been the hotspots. So it is better for your own safety.
Okay, yeah, we see a huge line outside Chroma, people wanting to buy dishwashers. I think that is the main reason. Yeah. Okay, we have one last question. I think that with all the precautions, is it advisable to start working full-fledged or wait for some more time? I think you just said it.
So you are working at half strength in your office. So basically, if half of your employees are working properly from home, other half are working from office, I would call that a full-fledged functioning only. So you can do whatever you can do all your work, but right now I know, like I've seen with my dad and uncle and everyone, don't go to the Mazgaon or the Bandra office as much as possible right now. Keep it digital, and courts also ideally should become digital right now. Even Supreme Court is moving pretty digital right now. So it is going to save you as well as the officer is going to sit in front of you.
Okay. Now on that maid question, we have just one more question that, okay, if they are coming, what is the precaution that we need to take in case if they have started coming, or if they will?
Same precautions as for your office. They have to wash their hands regularly, sanitize their hands, keep their footwear outside. All that has to be maintained.
Okay. I see one more. Yes, Alok ji.
Yeah, doctor. There is a research said that by sanitizing every time, it will create a problem. If you do sanitize your hand, so
yeah,
people
too much of sanitizer may dry off your hands. That is soap and water. Sanitizer situations like now, for example, if you are and you have touched the handle or the at that time you can use sanitizer, but once in your office, try and use soap and water. Simple.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, just one question from me. I would like to ask that, we see we are running on Marine Drive for this marathoners who are having their practice and all. How safe is that? They are all running at a distance. You think because of what you said, the droplets of aerosol, You think that will affect?
Yeah, but see, I know they are running at a distance, but see, even if you're going outside, please maintain distance from one another. No need to crowd and run. Don't pack up a area, like at least maintain. Even if you're running, see, outside when you are running or you're taking a walk, there's always going to be some amount of wind which is flowing. So the wind will act as a carrier. Inside your office, you don't have those currents very commonly, and at the same time you're wearing a mask. And it is advised that, and with a mask, it is also not advised to run. They had a case in one hospital currently where a runner was brought into the ICU breathless because he was running wearing N95. So his carbon dioxide level shot up. So he had to be put on oxygen support immediately. The best thing is to take a walk in a garden away from everyone. Don't run, don't do strenuous physical activities when wearing a mask.
Yes, I think that was a lot of information that we received. Dinesh ji, over to you.
Dr. Priyank, you mentioned of washing mask every day.
Yeah.
Can we sanitize it?
Sanitizing won't work effectively because see, that water with Dettol will enter everywhere into your mask. Your sanitizer may not enter everywhere around your mask. Plus, you're exposing your hands over there. All you have to do is just dump them in a bucket, put Dettol and water, and leave them there, and the virus will get killed. But once you are cleaning with your sanitizer, your hands are coming in contact with the dangerous parts of the mask, especially the outside part of the mask. So best is go home, put it in a bucket, put Dettol and water in it, and leave it aside for 8 hours. You can
Yes,
even put them in Ala solution or bleach solution, whatever. That is also effective.
Yes, Maliji.
N95 is washable.
I can't hear you, sir.
N95 mask is washable or not?
No, N95 is not washable. N95 can only be see, the ways to clean a N95 are by a 24-hour. In hospitals where they have to reuse N95s at times, they take a UV chamber and keep the mask inside for 24 hours. And then they turn it and again for 24 hours. So 48-hour exposure, whenever it is there, at that time only N95 can be used, or you need to do something called as autoclaving for the N95. But N95 I won't advise for you, sir, because it causes very much amount of discomfort, got lot of discomfort.
It cannot be reused again once it is used only for home.
At home, you don't have access to those UV sterilizers for a long time. So N95 cannot be reused in a domestic situation. In a medical situation where they have access to UV sterilizer or a dry heat machine or an autoclave, then only it is possible to reuse it.
So here we have one question on that. That is soap water not okay for mask washing?
It is okay. Detergent water is also okay.
So I think that was any other questions from the participants?
Sejal, one more question from participant, that sanitization of cell phones. Doctor sir, for sanitization of cell phone is, so someone has asked the question.
Yeah, you can do it, but be careful not to damage your phone. And again, phone is one of the most dangerous things right now you have, because it is coming inside and outside and you are touching it very constantly. So try and see, it is very difficult to avoid usage of phone. And in your office you are constantly receiving WhatsApp, so I would suggest is use WhatsApp, web and email on your desktop as much as possible. Phone ka avoid karo, avoid the usage of phone as much as possible. And if you have to use it, every 3-4 hours just sanitize it with a bit of sterilium or sanitizer, the back part and the front part.
Thank you.
We have Sunil ji, Krishnani ji, yes. Any more questions? 1 minute. Yeah, we have homemade should be how many layers? 2 or 3? I think you have already explained. Homemade mask should have layers. You think 2 or 3 layers?
They are easily available from a store, and the homemade mask is also safe, so you can use it.
Yeah, I think that's the general query. I think yes.
Can you guide on if anybody like that there are some symptoms Krishnaji,
I can't hear you. Too much of disturbance is there.
Krishnaji,
I
sir,
can't hear
can
you.
you please?
Huh?
1 minute, 1 minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was asking if anyone observes that there are some symptoms
Yeah,
where he can contact.
yeah.
Yeah, can you please guide
See.
on that?
See, you can contact the see BMC. The helpline numbers are currently they are very effective. Like we are like I know people who have contacted and they've got immediate response. And private hospitals are also in Bombay are pretty disciplined when taking in the COVID patients. For example, you have even reputed hospitals like Jaslok, Nanavati, Breach Candy, everyone taking in COVID patients. So you can basically contact the BMC helpline if you are feeling sick or anything, and then they will guide you further on what to do.
Okay.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now.
Our member of parliament has said that societies can have their own quarantine center sort of a thing and also get oxygen on rent. Whether it is advisable to have such a thing?
See,
And
honestly, we are not.
what would be
Yeah, please go ahead.
what would be the responsibility of the managing committee in that case?
See that honestly speaking, quarantine, if you want to create in the society, it should only be for asymptomatic patients, like people who are not having any symptoms and they are going to become okay with simple crocin. It is not advisable to keep oxygen and all the associated paraphernalia in your office, in your society setup, because then you will be having a lot of other instruments you have to keep. And right now, and 90, like I said, 95% of the patients get okay with paracetamol. So for asymptomatic patients of COVID, you can keep a quarantine center designated area in your society or your premises, but it is not advisable to have all the oxygen paraphernalia, ventilator, all that in your home, in your building, because then you will require expert medical attention. Like even as a surgeon, I cannot handle a ventilator. It is out of my realm. You will require an anesthetist or a pediatrician or a pulmonologist or a physician to man the whole system. So best would be to just have for asymptomatics, don't fall into taking oxygen and all that into your society.
Thank you for that. And we have just one question: that is it necessary to sanitize the car daily? Because everybody is using their cars now. How about sanitizing that?
Car, only parts of the car which I would advise to sanitize are the handles, because they are the contact parts of the car. You are not going to touch too many things in the car when you are going to be sitting, and so it is and your car is going to be left out in the sun and get heated. So anyways, best thing would be to just touch your clean your door handles, or once you enter the car, immediately wash your hands with sanitizer. That's it. So that is one situation where soap and water is not available. So for such situations, you should keep sanitizer.
I think that was a really informative sessions, and we are done with most of the questions. So over to you, Dinesh ji, and then we will have Sunil ji, Khushnani ji will be giving the vote of thanks.
Thank you. Mali sir, do you want to say something? We can't hear you. Sir, we can't hear you.
Yes, Mali sir.
The session was very much informative. Dr. Priyank Talati has dealt with all possible the things which are required to be explained. I think what we can learn from this is that everybody who is coming in contact we should treat him suspiciously and see that we should presume that he is asymptomatic positive, so that we will take care that social distancing and everything will be taken care of. So we must thank Mr. Talati, and I will request you to sum up whatever.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. Just before we do the vote of thanks, we just have one more question because I think the participant really wants to know: how safe it is to use Uber or Ola? Yeah, we have not come across this.
See, Uber, Ola, again, like Swiggy and Zomato, they too are claiming that they are doing temperature monitoring. They're not stuffing too many people into their car. See, if you are wearing a mask and using a sanitizer, and if you're generally healthy, then you can use it. But be very cautious when using it. Don't touch things in your car. For example, if Ola has a touchscreen for your entertainment, don't use it. Simple, because you don't know how many people have touched it. Only part of the car you should be touching are the door handle. That's it. Touch nothing else in the car. And immediately after touching, also use a sanitizer and wear a mask at all times when you are in the car.
So I think mask and sanitizer are the two things we should have it handy on all the time.
Yes. Mask and your hand wash. That's all you require. And if possible, keep the windows open. Don't turn on the AC in the car. AC filter, I don't know when the car fellow will clean, the driver. So if possible, keep the windows open.
Serial, 1 sec. Doctor,
Yes.
just last question.
Yeah.
How long it will take?
Yeah.
This according to your studies, how long it will take this corona will go? No
I
idea.
don't know. I don't have any idea, because this is because this is treating this COVID epidemic is something we are seeing for the first time. So we have no base data to go back upon and relate to ourselves. And in all statistical models are being thrown off the air because the big variable over here is human behavior. No one can predict human behavior. See, our people, they have not been very vigilant during the lockdown. Very sadly, I would like to say that. So the projection which came that by 16th May we are going to taper, it is not coming because people are not being careful in India as much as they should be. So the thing is, see, you have to assume this is the new normal and live with it. It is definitely going to go, but when, we don't know. But assume this as the new normal and get back to work.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I think we will go on and go on with the questions, but I think it's time we have to wind up.
One thing I want to say is, don't be scared, don't be paranoid, just be alert. That's it. Paranoia will make you depressed. It will make you go into anxiety. You don't want these issues happening to you. Just be alert. That's it.
Yes,
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Priyank. This was wonderful session of webinar, and it was really the need of the hour to have somebody to guide our members. And Dr. Priyank has really played a wonderful role in guiding us during this pandemic situation. And to begin with the work, there are many more queries which are the simple questions which we may want to answer. We may want to ask Dr. Priyank, and we may recollect many more questions after this webinar also that we have not asked him. As usual, I request our speakers to write article in the GST review. I don't know how far this subject would be proper to write an article in the GST review, but I would request, as Mr. Dhaval Talati, his father himself is an editor of our GST review. So I would request him to please consult with him, and Rachel you might have that in the chat box, those questions. You can make FAQs if possible, and you can consult with Dhaval Bhai and may write an article for us, for our members. Maybe that would be useful for us and our members too. So it was a wonderful session. I would thank Mr. Dhaval Talati because he had sent me his PPT, which he today showed on the webinar. And he asked me, see if it is helpful to you and your staff. I said, why to me only? Why not to make it available to all the members and all the stakeholders, maybe to the department and everybody? So I spoke to him and I requested him to speak to Dr. Priyank and get him in the webinar. And I didn't even speak to him before webinar. and without I speaking, without my request, he came just on the request I made to his father. I really thank Dr. Yang. Thank you so much. I also thank our Honorable President of Maharashtra Sales Tax Tribunal for joining us as a chief guest for this session. Thank you so much, sir, for and I would like to recognize his nature. He's always positive to listen to things. He's always open for the suggestions. So I thank him for joining this webinar, and maybe this would be useful for starting the Maharashtra Sales Tax Tribunal. Thanks a lot, sir, for joining us. Now I request our Joint Secretary, Mr. Sunil Kushlani, to propose RT vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dinesh. Thank you very much. On behalf of GSTPM, I would like to propose a very worthy vote of thanks to today's learned speaker, Dr. Priyank Talati. Dr. Priyank, means you have told us that to fight with Corona, you should score 90% and above. Your oxygen level should be above 90%. Am I right?
Yes.
So,
Yes, yes.
now Corona is fighting against the education, so we have to score 90% hereafter. So for that, you have to take many precautions, which Dr. Priyank Talati has suggested to us. It was a worthy lecture and worthful presentation given by Dr. Priyank Talati. I propose a very hearty vote of thanks for him. I request.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, but we can't hear you. We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Now, I would like to thank our chief guest, Honorable President of Maharashtra Sales Tax Tribunal, Shri Prakash Maliji. Sir, you spared from your busy schedule and attended this seminar and guided us with your lecture. Thank you very much for being here, and thanks a lot, sir. We look forward to see you again. Thank you very much, Dr. Priyank Talati. We too look forward to see you again, because there are many more questions have been left to be answered, and people are asking those questions. I thank President and our team, Alok Mehta, Praveen Shinde, and Vice President Raj Shah. I thank IT team, Advocate Sejal Shah and Hiral Shah. Thank you very much. Thanks for arranging this such a wonderful seminar for us. Thank you. Dinesh would like to speak something.
Yeah. Only one request which I want to make to the organizers, Advocate Sejal Shah and our Hiral Shah, to please immediately upload this webinar on YouTube channel of GSTPM and make it available to everyone on WhatsApp, so that everyone will be able to take benefit of it. Yeah, that is the only request. Thank you so much. Yeah, Alok wants to say something.
Yeah. See, we thanks everybody, but I think I should thankful to Dinesh Tamre who have come out with this innovative idea. That after Double Talati spoke to him and he has made it so. Thanks, Dinesh. I think fantastic idea that it is made to public. So thanks to him also for all this wonderful organizing the thing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Priyank. Thank you, Priyank.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.